Hola, año 8. Estamos en la semana segunda, week 2, y es la lección 1, o la clase número 1. So lesson 1 of week 2, and the topic we're looking at this week is buying food in a market. So the title is En el mercado. So escribid el título, en el mercado, luego escribid la fecha, so write the date, subrayad con una regla, underline it with a ruler, please. And here it is. So, en el mercado, you need to write the date depending on the day you're doing this lesson. So, para empezar, as a starter, please, I'd like you to copy and translate the text you have on the screen here. So, normalmente no desayuno nada, pero de vez en cuando desayuno zumo de una manzana con tostada. A veces a mediodía como una hamburguesa con patatas fritas, pero es más sana. Ceno ensalada porque es sana y bebo agua. Okay, so there's your short description of what someone eats and drinks throughout the day. So copy it, please, and then translate it into English. It should take you about 10 minutes, maybe. Off you go. Thank you. Okay, so I forgot to ask you to pause the video, but I'm sure you did while you did the task. So let's have a look and see if we can correct your work. So you should have normalmente no desayuno nada, means normally I don't have anything for breakfast. Remember, to have something for breakfast in Spanish, you can just say easily with one verb, desayuno. Pero de vez en cuando is from time to time. I have apple juice and toast. So, de vez en cuando desayuno zumo de manzana y tostada. Sometimes at midday, a veces a mediodía. I have a hamburger with chips. Now remember, I have, if you looked at this and put it into Spanish, some of you would be tempted to put tengo. But we're talking about what someone has for lunch. So it's como. Or you could have tomo as well. To have food. Tomo una hamburguesa con patatas fritas, pero es malsana. It is unhealthy. For dinner, so again, ceno is I eat for dinner. Ceno ensalada, porque es sana, y bebo agua. Okay, so if you got all of that right, then really well done. If you had some things that you'd forgotten, then make a note of that and write down that you set yourself a target to revise the language you weren't sure about. Okay, thank you. So moving on, let's have a look at the objectives for this week. We have the slowest computer ever. There we go. Right, to understand vocabulary about buying food in a market, numbers, quantities, etc., you're going to write a conversation, and towards the end of the week, you'll also do your own description of a shopping trip. So far then we've revised what we did last week with meal times and foods, and now we're doing more about buying food. So first of all, hay que saber bien means you need to know this well. So if you look here, you've got pictures denoting what the weights and measures are. We've got un kilo de, a kilo of, medio kilo de, 2 kilos de. Now the de is obviously going to be of, so 2 kilos de chorizo, for example, if you wanted a lot of chorizo. 100 gramos, so 100 grams. So there are 1,000 grams in a kilo. 100 grams is 100 grams, 100 grams. 200 gramos de, 200 grams. 500 gramos, 500 grams. So those are all weights. Okay, now you need to write this down in a second, and you need to have it written, but I'll tell you when I want you to write it. At the moment, just have a look at the slide and get used to what these things sound and look like. So these are all your weights. We've got kilo and gramo. Here we got una barra de, a loaf of, una barra de pan, a loaf of bread. Una botella is a bottle. Un cartón is a carton of. So un cartón de zumo, a carton of juice, for example. And the last one here is 2 euros y 20 céntimos. So €2.20. Now we're going to be looking at money in this lesson as well. So far we've had weights, some sort of measures in quantities you'd buy things in, and here we've got some prices. Okay, so we're going to do a practice of all of this today. So, sorry, my computer, I've clicked the computer, it's just taking a long time to load. Okay, so here is the vocabulary we're doing today. We've got several things that you would buy if you were cooking. So, first of all, jamón. Jamón. So we've got that jota sound at the beginning there. So that's ham, jamón. Manzanas are apples. Manzanas. Peras are pears. Jamón, manzanas, peras. Queso is cheese. Tomates, tomatoes. Zanahorias. That's a word you'd never guess unless you knew that you wouldn't be able to guess it. Whereas peras and tomates are very obviously what they sound like. Zanahorias are carrots. And grapes are uvas. So jamón, manzanas, peras, queso, tomates, zanahorias, uvas. Don't write this down yet, we're going to in a moment. Ahora tenemos más comida, some more food here. Tenemos chorizo. So chorizo is a spicy Spanish sausage. Una botella de agua, a bottle of water. Un cartón de leche. Sorry, my face is in the way there. There we go. Un cartón de leche. Una lechuga is a lettuce. And una barra de pan is a loaf of bread. So that's a carton of milk. And as I said, a chorizo is a popular spicy Spanish sausage. It depends. Some of them are very spicy and really quite hot. Others are milder. Okay, so here is the vocabulary you need to write down. I'd like you to write the vocabulary. It says, escribe el vocabulario español e inglés. So Spanish and English, please. Patatas, tomates, manzanas, uvas, peras. All of these you've just seen, apart from, right, number 8, plátanos. They go with bananas. And cebollas, you didn't see before, but they are onions, which are over there. And pimientos is the last one that you haven't seen before, and it's at the top is peppers. Okay, so you need to pause the video and you need to write down the vocabulary, please. Okay, so I'm assuming you've paused the video and written the vocabulary and you're ready to move on. And what we're going to do now is a listening exercise. So you need to write, it says, Escuchamos, escribe 1 a 12. So can you write down escuchar as a listening exercise? Then write the numbers down the side of your page 1 to 12. And what I want you to do, please, is to write in English the item and the weight of each order. So each person is going to say, quiero un kilo de zanahorias, for example, in which case you would need to write down a kilo of carrots. They may say 500 gramos de jamón, 500 grams of ham. So this is the recap here of the weights. Medio kilo, un kilo y medio, 2 kilos. Here are your grams. 100, 150, 100, 150, 200 is 200, 250, 250, 300, 400, and 500. Okay, so when you're ready, then you can pause the video if you like. When you're ready, restart it and then we'll listen to the listening. I just need to put it into a different format so I can hear it. Here we go. And I'm just going to share the sound so it'll be better. Here we go.
32. Ejercicio 3. Escucha y escribe la letra correcta.
Tomates, tomates baratos, tomates, los mejores tomates, oiga señora.
1.
Number
¿Qué
1.
quieres?
Una lechuga, por favor.
Okay, so what he said was una lechuga, por favor. So that is going to be, hopefully you've heard this, it's a lettuce, please. Okay, so you write down number 1, a lettuce. Okay, here we go.
2. ¿Qué quieres?
1 kilo de peras, por favor.
Just pausing it for you so you have a chance to write it down. That was 1 kilo de peras, por favor.
3. Buenos días. ¿Qué quieres?
200 gramos de queso, por favor.
200 gramos de queso, por favor.
4. ¿Qué quieres?
Una barra de pan, por favor.
This is number 4, and she said, una barra de pan, por favor.
5. ¿Qué quieres?
100 gramos de jamón, por favor.
Número 5, 100 gramos de jamón, por favor.
6. ¿Qué quieres?
Medio kilo de tomates, por favor.
Medio kilo de tomates, por favor.
7. ¿Qué quieres?
Un cartón de leche, por favor.
Un cartón de leche, por favor.
8. ¿Qué quieres?
Una botella de agua, por favor.
Este es número 8, una botella de agua, por favor.
9. ¿Qué quieres?
Quiero 500 gramos de uvas, por favor.
500 gramos de uvas, por favor.
10. ¿Qué quieres?
Un chorizo, por favor.
Un chorizo, por favor.
11. ¿Qué quieres?
1 kilo de zanahorias, por favor.
This is number 11. Un kilo de zanahorias, por favor. Finalmente, número 12.
12. Buenos días. ¿Qué quieres?
2 kilos de manzanas, por favor.
2 kilos de manzanas, por favor. Okay, now if you need to listen to any of those again, then obviously you can. But if you're happy with that, then move on to do the correction. And here we go. So this is what you're listening to. And the next slide. Here we go. So the first one was, he started off by saying tomates, tomates. He's in the market, obviously. But the first person asked for una lechuga, por favor. Número 2, you should have un kilo de peras, a kilo of pears. Número 3, 200 gramos de queso, 200 grams of cheese. Una barra de pan was number 4. 100 gramos de jamón, 100 grams of ham. Medio kilo de tomates is what that person wanted. Un cartón de leche, a carton of milk. Una botella de agua was number 8, a bottle of water. 500 gramos de uvas was number 9, 500 grams of grapes. Un chorizo was number 10. Número 11 was un kilo de zanahorias, a kilo of carrots. And then finally we had 2 kilos de manzanas, 2 kilos of apples. If you got all of those, really well done. because you're listening out there for new vocabulary and weights as well, so it wasn't that easy. So correct any that you didn't have right, correct it in a red pen so you can see what you need to revise. And when you've done that, make sure that you have this written down as well. Okay, so 100 gramos, 150 gramos, and so on. You'll need all of that later on in the week. Once you've done that, you can move on. And finally, please, is it a quick reading I'd like you to do? So read the 3 descriptions and decide which basket they correspond to. And then once you've done that, choose one of the paragraphs and translate it into English, please. So you've got 200 gramos de uvas, 500 gramos de queso, and so on. So you just need to read through, which is it? Is number 1, does it go with A, B, or C? So you'll have 1, 2, 3 written down, then the appropriate letter. And then after that, choose one and translate to English. Okay, I'm going to let you pause the video, do that work, and then we will very quickly just go through it when you're ready to correct. Okay, so we're just going to correct the matching up exercise. Number 1, they wanted 200 grams of grapes, 500 grams of cheese, and a bottle of water. So that obviously goes with C. Number 2, this person wanted un cartón de leche, a carton of milk, 800 grams of ham. So aquí tenemos un cartón de leche, 800 gramos de jamón, es A, that's A. Y número 3, señora García wanted un kilo de zanahorias, a kilo of carrots, un chorizo, y un kilo de peras. So chorizo and a kilo of pears. Okay, so number 3 went with B. Depending on which one you translated, then I've actually just translated them as I've gone through. Okay, so check your work carefully and then move on. And this is just to recap the objectives we've seen today about buying food in a market, number and quantities, and lots of new vocab learned. Thank you very much indeed, Year 8, for your work today, and I will see you in lesson 2. Gracias.